Hi, welcome to Curiosity and a 360 video of my visit to Auschwitz. Now I've had this quite a while, so I thought I would upload it anyway. Now if you don't know anything about 360 videos, before you watch this, I suggest that you search how to watch them, because they're slightly different to normal videos. So if you go on YouTube or onto any websites, have a look on how to watch a 360 video. Anyway, the reason I filmed it in 360 was in order to give you who haven't been, or those who would like to go but just can't because of the money or the distance, the chance to at least experience what it's actually like visually. Now, a lot of people actually think that Auschwitz was a camp in Germany, but it was actually in Poland, and despite what people believe, there weren't only Jews that were placed in that camp. Now, other victims included 74,000 Polish, 21,000 Roma people, 15,000 Russians, and 10,000 other nationalities. But the Jews themselves, they actually suffered the most casualties overall, with over 960,000 of 1.1 million people that were sent there. But all in all, more people died in Auschwitz than any other death camp in history. One other misconception is that it was the Americans that found the camp, when it was actually the Soviet soldiers. Now, it was only then that the full horrors started to come to light, and some of the most barbaric events that ever took place in history was brought to light. Now, as you walk through the building, you actually see a lot of prosthetic legs, shoes, handbags, hair, and everything else. And it's quite shocking, because these are only just a small part of what was actually there. But, like I said, this was the actual reality of what was happening. Now, when the true horror of genocide actually came to light, there was also stories of multiple rape of men, women and children by gangs of soldiers, human experiments that would turn anybody's stomach, and stories of even one doctor who liked to use twins to see if he could replace their eyes with each other's, remove arms and then replace them on the sibling, and even feed one and then starve the other to see what would happen. Now, there are parts of the tour where you're told not to take photographs, and out of respect, I suggest that you don't do that or take any video either. It's then said that the victims would be loaded onto trains, the strong would be tattooed and made to work, while the old and young would be sent to the gas chambers under the guise of a shower, saying that they would be cleaned up and then returned to the families. However, that never happened, and then once they were put to death, the fellow prisoners would remove them and take them to be incinerated. But after they were incinerated, the prisoners would then have to search through the ashes for things like gold teeth, and then reuse anything like shoes, spectacles and clothing for the Germans to sell to help their war effort. Now, what you're actually looking at here is photographs of prisoners that had came to stay. Now, these photographs were actually taken as they arrived. They'd been cleaned up, they'd had their head shaved, and then they were photographed and tattooed. However, when you walk around the camp today, it looks more like an old holiday camp with its clean floors, neatly trimmed grass, and its brick buildings. Now, the camp itself was split into two, one being Auschwitz and the other being Auschwitz II, which was also known as Birkenau. Now what you're actually looking at here is one of the gas chambers. Now as you can see, it's got windows and doors, etc. when you walk in. Now I'm presuming those windows were so that the Germans could actually see what was going on. It is very, very shocking. It's not a nice place. You can imagine a lot of people being put in there who actually thought they were going to go and have a shower and who actually gassed to death. Now apparently they used to leave them in there 15 minutes after the time was up just to make sure that they were dead. So you'd have had women, young children gasping for air, being burnt on the inside as well as the outside because of the gas, and basically they'd have just died and they were left there until other prisoners came to pick them up to remove the body and remove all their things. As you can see, I've arrived at Auschwitz. Very surreal, because it's strange to think that so many millions of people had lost their lives in this place, and we're actually here as tourists looking at it. But I'm not going to talk too much because I just want you to get the feel for it. Alright, good night.
Thank you.
Now, like everybody else, I've seen photographs and videos of the train lines and people being hurried off the trains with bags and cases, young children, women, etc. But until you actually see it for real, that's when you actually realise just how long those train lines were and what the gravity of the situation must have been. Now, one myth that I'd heard was the fact that no birds flew over the site because they could sense death. But I witnessed birds and they were singing, etc. while I was there. So, like I said, that is nothing more than a myth. But what we were also told is that the videos that you see where prisoners are actually standing behind the barbed wire fence were actually not taken at the time they were found, because the prisoners were so ill they had to take them away to make them give them fluids and give them vitamin C, etc., give them some medicines, and then all the videos and photographs were actually taken later to illustrate, to show the world what it was actually like and what the Germans were actually doing. Now, the bedding areas were more like stalls, and you can imagine people trying to cuddle up together to try and get warm in the harsh winters because there was no heating and everything was bare. So, that was my visit. I hope you found this as interesting as I found my visit, and I pray to God that nothing like this ever happens again. But somehow, I think we're only kidding ourselves. Thanks for watching this 360 version of Curiosity, and remember, do something that scares you. But in the meantime, I'm just going to leave you with some footage of the camp.